Okay, now we're going to take a look at some licks that incorporate some more of our major scale ideas, 3-note per string. There's still some pentatonic elements here because that's what Zakk does. He plays fast pentatonics very, very well. This first lick is inspired by the mighty No More Tears, which has got to be probably Zakk's finest hour in terms of a solo for Ozzy. It's an absolutely awesome solo. Had a great guitar sound on that record as well. So this is kind of based on it. It's not exactly the same. I wanted to offer, the same kind of train of thought, but obviously not pen you into that exact lick. We start off D minor pentatonic. And the first part of the lick is very similar to something we've seen already, which is just going 13, 10, 13, 10 on the E, and then 13, 10 on the B string. So move that up to the next position, 15, 13, 15, 13 on the top E, and then the same on the B. So next position of the pentatonic, we're going 17, 15, 17, 15, 15, 18, 15. So that's the pentatonic section. Now it all goes a little bit wrong here, and not wrong as in bad, wrong as in, ow, this hurts. We've got this little figure which we've got to do a bit of a stretch, and we're playing 18, 15, 13, 15, 18. And you can pick that, which is probably more of how Zakk played it, a mixture of hammering on and pulling off. So you get a, so just go 18, 15, 13, 18, and move that shape up, which is 20, 17, 15, 20. So, and then bend our 20th fret up to 22. So let's put the lick together. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Quite a tricky one, that. You can also do the little pentatonic thing as hammer-ons and pull-off, so like that. So if you find the picking a little hard, I'd also suggest swap into the front pickup for alternate picking as well. It can sound a little bit smoother, especially on tricky licks like that. So here we go, one more time. 2, 3, 4. And okay, we're going to move on to our next lick, and this one possibly doesn't belong in this section, but I kind of thought of it towards the end and I thought, oh no, we'll put it in this section of the DVD. It's still 3-note per string, but it's another example of Zakk filling in the gaps around the pentatonic. It comes from a track taken off of the Osmosis album, which was the third album for Ozzy that Zakk played on, and I believe the track is called Thunder Underground. I think that's the name of the tune. And it's a really kind of slow, Sabbathy kind of groove, but Zakk plays this very, very fast, incredibly muted run, but it just very, very, very effective sound. We start off by playing 8, 9 and 10. It's based around a couple of positions of pentatonic, but filling in the gap. So, and then we move that onto the A string, then up to the 10th fret, and do 10, 11, 12 on the A, and then the same on the D, and finish off by playing 10 on the G and the B. Here we go with some distortion. 3, 4, You can hear that when you mute it, it sounds very cool. 2, 3, 4. Very, very aggressive sounding little pattern, but a good way of shifting between shapes of the minor pentatonic scale. Okay, Zakk doesn't really play that much 3-note per string stuff, but every so often a few licks do sneak out. This next lick is based around the G natural minor scale and is also found on the Osmosis album, and it's a track called My Little Man, which I believe was written by Steve Vai, which is kind of an unusual pairing, Steve Vai and Ozzy Osbourne with Zakk on guitar, but there you go. I'm not so sure that this lick it's not spot on. I used it as inspiration, but again, it just extends our idea of our previous lick where you're filling in the gaps and repeating on each string. That kind of idea, but moving it a lot more kind of scale based. So for this lick, we're going to play 3, 5, and 6 on the E string. Same on the A string, 3, 5, 7 on the D, and the same on the G. So slowly, 2, 3, and 4, and... Here we go up to speed, 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you practice your major scales that we looked on in the scale section of the DVD, you'll be able to, hopefully nail that lick all over the place and, connect more shapes and cover a lot more of the neck. Okay, moving on to our next lick. This is another example of Zakk's 3-note per string playing. If any of you listen to Paul Gilbert, you'll have come across these kind of licks, and also Al Di Meola. It's kind of a very common thing, but I felt that we should look at it anyway. It's not so much Zakk's style, it's just something that he does once in a while. And this is based around the D natural minor scale, so coming from F major. And it's a half and half lick. We hammer on the first group, and then the next 3, we pick, so. Okay, so quite a tricky little idea to get down. We're playing 10, 11 and 13 on the B, and then we play 10, 12, 13 on the top E. Move that diatonically, so 11, 13, 15 on the B, and then 12, 13, 15 on the top E. Then we play 13, 15, 17 on the B and the top E. And then we play 15, 17, 18 on the top E and B, or the B and the E. And then finish off with a bend. So here we go, nice and slowly. 3, 4, and... A little more up to speed. 2, 3, 4, and... You can get those quite fast. 2, 3, 4. Kind of a cool little pattern. Okay, our next lick is inspired by the opening track from the first album that Zakk played on for Ozzy, which is No Rest for the Wicked. And this is an interesting little arpeggio figure. Zakk doesn't play that many arpeggios, but when he does, he sure can play them. And the first part of the lick, there's 2 versions of this, actually. I'm playing it here in E minor. Miracle Man is played in E minor live, but on the record it's in F sharp minor, so it's a whole tone higher. Basically, it's like an A minor arpeggio that you're playing over the E, but you're dropping the third down, so you're playing an A minor, or an A sus2. But theory aside, it's a cool sounding, kind of variation on an A minor arpeggio. So we're playing 10 on the B, 7 on the E, 12 on the E. And it's a group of 3, but we phrase 4, so move it up to B minor, so 12 on the B, 10 on the E, 14 on the E. I'll play that properly this time. Then up to C major, which is 13 on the B, 10 on the E, and 15 on the top E. Now, the picking with this lick, I've seen Zakk play this many times, and he uses like a sweeping economy technique where he goes down, down, up, down, down, up. Like so. I can kind of do that, but to me that's not that economical. I play it slightly different, where I play up pick on the first note, and I go up, down, down, up. I'm using like a sweep picking technique, and basically with this particular technique, what happens is it's almost like the classical rest stroke. Classical rest stroke when you play the fingerstyle is when you strike a note, your finger comes to rest on the next string. So when I play, say for instance, I start the lick actually with a down pick, so I go down, down, up, sorry, down, down, up, down, and then get into, playing the two ups in a row. So down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down. I'll try and do it again, shall I, and actually speak and play at the same time. So we're going down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. You get the idea. I always start on a down pick and go across the strings. As I go down, I'm resting on the top E. And when I come up on the B, on the E, I'm resting on the B. So here's the lick, nice and slowly. 2, 3, 4, and... A little more up to speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. I must admit I cheated there a little bit. I don't know if you noticed that I was sliding in each time from the final upstroke of each position, which is another way to play it. I like using that economy picking technique because it means that I can pick every note. Alternate picking that, it is possible, but it's a little bit of a hassle. It's not very economical. Instead of using the economy picking or sweep picking technique, I find much more economical and a little less stressful as well. Okay, we're going to take a look at another lick, which I pinched this lick off of one of Zakk's Black Label Society albums, and it's an interesting little run in the key of D minor. We play 14, 15, 17 on the D, and 14, 15, 17 on the G, and then 15, 17 on the B. So it's it's a group of 16th notes. So. And then we move that onto 14, 15, 17 on the B, 15, 17, 18, 15 on the B, and then 15, 17 on the top E. So from the G. Quite a tricky one, that, quite fiddly. So here we go, 2, 3, 4. Quite a nice, again, nice little picking workout. It's quite awkward because you've got two notes on the final string, so it's not strict 3 note per string. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So a little bit awkward on your picking, but again, another great little workout. Okay, our next lick, and we've got one more to go. And this one is just a little trill idea demonstrating Zakk's prowess with hammer-ons and pull-offs. And it's in the key of G minor. We're playing 3 and 5, hammering on the G string. It's 5 and 7 on the G. 7 and 9. 9 and 10. 10 and 12. 12 and 14. 14 and 15, 15, 17, and then bend the 17 up at the end there. So here we go, 2, 3, 4. And that's moving through several positions of our 3 note per string major scales. That was actually in the key of F, so it was like a G Dorian sounding lick. And you can do that on absolutely any string, or you can combine, numerous strings. But that's something that you'll hear a lot on Zakk's playing. Now, our final lick. Now, I didn't really know where to put this one, but I felt I had to do it. This is the only tapping lick. Well, no, that's a bit of a lie. There's a little tapping lick in our solo later on. But Zakk, I read an interview with him once, and he was questioned about two-handed tapping. He said, why should I tap? Van Halen does it better than anyone else, which I kind of like that approach and that way of looking at it. So Zakk doesn't really use tapping that much. It's more of a sound effect for him. This particular lick, you can play this in any key. I'm going to do it here in F sharp minor. I'm going to bend the 4th fret of the G up a whole tone, release, pull off to 2, tap on the 18th fret, don't tap the 19th fret there. As you tap, bend up with that. Pull the tap, release the tap, and then release the bend. So it's kind of an odd way of him getting, random wide pitches. And it's more of a sound effect as opposed to being, a specific kind of lick. And you'll hear him and see him doing that a lot, bending with the tapping hand. And that concludes the lick section of the DVD.